Signs of Tradition and Wonders of Experience, a devotional for the seasons of Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany, produced by Northside Church. Friday, December 6th. Our scripture passages today come from Matthew chapter 1, verse 1, and Luke chapter 2, verses 1 through 3.
This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register.
It's no accident that Matthew begins the story of Jesus in the same way that Exodus began that of Moses, by recounting a family record, establishing identity and place within that family. If it had been up to me, I don't think I'd open the greatest story ever told, and the entire New Testament for that matter, with what appears to be nothing more than a long and even tedious list of names. But, of course, now we know that it's so much more than that. It's a family record, revealing not just Jesus' ancestry, but his story and tradition as well. By opening the story in such a way, Matthew is cueing the reader that something like Moses, whose experience had become ingrained in tradition, was about to be experienced in a whole new way. And much like in the time of Moses, the family of Israel found themselves once again in desperate need of a new experience, of faith, of hope, and most importantly, of God himself. 1,500 years have passed, and we don't find them in a much better place than we did in Exodus, living under foreign rule and being oppressed. Often we read over these first few verses of Luke 2 quickly, without thinking much of them. Surely Luke is just setting up the historical context, right? To be sure, there is some of that going on, but you don't mention the name Caesar Augustus, the first and greatest emperor in Rome's history, unless you are highlighting a much deeper point. And when we consider that this is the only time that he is mentioned in the Bible, it should give us further pause. Caesar has decreed that the people be counted, not simply because he wants to know how many folks there are in his great empire, but so that they will be registered and taxed. And because it is the powerful Caesar who has decreed it, everyone went to their own town to register. Luke begins the story of Jesus' birth by reminding us of the context and condition of Jesus' people when the baby boy was born, oppressed, without freedom, in their own kind of captivity. But even here, once again caught in the trap of oppression, many of the family of Israel had hope because they had the story and tradition of their people, which included not only Moses, but all of the names and stories contained within Jesus' genealogy, and so many more. This is why many in Jesus' time were expecting that God was about to do something new, that God was going to send them someone to give them a new experience of hope, and they had no idea how right they were. Our captivity and oppression today is much more likely to take on a different form and character. It looks more like anger and anxiety than slave masters and centurions. It feels more like addiction and anger than whips and chains. It cripples more like pride and arrogance than decrees and registries. All this reminds us that Advent and Christmas are not always the most wonderful time of year for some of us. But whatever your situation may be this holiday season, remember that as we practice this tradition of Advent, God does not leave us nor forsake us. For we are filled with expectation and hope of the new experience that has come, is coming, and will come again in Jesus Christ.